Um, I played the violin and piano as a kid, but I didn't think of writing my own music um, until I started playing guitar in bands when I was a teenager. Um, so I started writing my own songs. Uh, but also, I studied music at Manchester University and discovered Stravinsky, especially the 30s Stravinsky, and that was when I first started wanting to, write down notes on paper for other people to play. I think there's a certain flamboyance in my music. I try to make everything very magical and colourful, but also quite clear and precise, and try to make everything as make the ideas as clear and sort of confident in their identity as possible. Um, I often write for orchestras and large ensembles, so there's often a kind of sonic richness, and maybe a kind of unpredictability about how the pieces unfold and sort of what happens next. I tend to be interested in things that are very fantastical or technicolor, but with quite a refined and disciplined surface. So stuff that's packed full of fun and colour and personality, but delivered really deadpan. So various people that I've found influential might include Oscar Wilde, Peter Greenaway, Chris Morris, Powell Clay, Lewis Carroll, Carol Churchill. Yeah, I've name checked two artists in pieces of mine. One of which is Luigi Serafini, who made an encyclopedia of things that don't exist and could never exist. And also Heath Robinson, who designed machines that don't exist and could never possibly work. Those have both influenced me a lot. The main premise of Violet is that a very traditionally focused village begins losing hours from its day. So initially 1 hour is missing. The light slightly changes and the clocks flip from 11 to 12. The next day 2 are missing, and then 3. And so basically the next 24 days are increasingly short and leading towards some kind of temporal black hole where everything ceases to exist. So the opera is sort of about what do people do with that information that time is disappearing and possibly the village and time might cease to exist. Violet herself is bored. She's in a boring marriage. She's in this patriarchal society, and so unlike most of the villagers, she's not terrified. She's really thrilled by this change, and even if it means the end of her and everything she knows, at least something is happening. So yeah, that's Violet's story. It's partly different because there's a text, but not just a text, a story, a narrative, and scenes have built-in structures and characters have motivations, and there are reasons for putting one note rather than another. It's also different because it's much longer than anything I've written. So I've tried to have quite a lot of variety in the sound, so the audience's ears don't get bored, but also to kind of make a shape about how the thing evolves. So the music changes towards the end of the opera. It goes a bit funny and things sort of curdle and they become a bit sparser and desiccated as the village's world disappears, essentially. Alice and I met in 2014, and I think in 2016 we started knocking about ideas for operas. So we started from a slightly formless list of things that I made that were sort of personal obsessions or interests or things that excite me artistically. I think I sent her things about maps and magic and circles and various sort of loose concepts to see if any one of them might be productive, that she might find interesting. She seized on clocks and clockmaking, and we sort of discussed a number of ways in which clocks and time could malfunction, which resulted in this story. She largely wrote the words before I wrote the music for them, but we also made a version of the first third or so of the opera for a workshop in 2017, and after that we changed the story slightly. But also before the last scene arrived with me, I literally didn't know how the opera would end, and it's a hell of an ending. I'm an enormous fan of Alice's work, and I was really excited that I was going to get a text especially from her, and it's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, she has this amazing terseness and really strict economy of words, but then the text will take flight in these kind of extended and dazzling images. Everything was so tight and precise, but also really unpredictable and really capricious. And then there's this compelling darkness and lines that make you hold your breath. But also so much humour and humanity kind of shines through that darkness. So yeah, it's been a joy to work with her words. I will never turn down a nice fish pie.